Hey, what's going on, YouTube family? So, I just watched the craziest interview or debate, if you will. I hate to call it a debate, but maybe that's what it was. I'm just going to call it an interview. I just watched the craziest interview. It was about 3 hours, and it was between the Grown Man Show and some guy named Levi, which I believe is the same person as Levi Kelly. Now, to be honest with you, I mean, it was pretty exciting. And this has like been one of the very first times that I've been able to watch a video 3 hours straight. I was actually at my desk working and I paused it here and there, so I guess it wasn't straight through, but I was compelled to watch all of it. There was certain parts that I wish I could have just gotten through or just, fast forward, but it was so good I was afraid to fast forward because I didn't want to miss out on any good stuff. So I, for one, don't believe in 3 hour videos, and I think the YouTube community needs to stop that nonsense. I think we really should try to keep our videos under 45 minutes. But you know what? That's just me. That's my thoughts. Leave your questions and comments below if you think videos should be under 45 minutes, unless it's a movie, right? So maybe it's just me, but people have lives. They just can't sit here and watch a video for 3 and 4 hours. You need to cut that nonsense down and make it a series. Make it a series. Make it, two, three videos. But again, that's just me. Leave your questions, comments below, and let me know what you think. But nonetheless, one of the most exciting things that came out of that video was that I discovered, and I believe, that R. Kelly's conspiracy to defraud the United States charge can be beaten. And as a matter of fact, I think it's likely to be beaten, right? Now, of course, I'm not a lawyer, and I don't know what R. Kelly's lawyer is going to say. I don't know what the government is going to do to defend their charge. I don't know all that stuff, right? But after watching that interview or that debate, whatever you want to call it, after watching that, some things came to light. Now, first, I'm just going to tell you that this guy, Levi for Kelly, he's a sharp dude. He's a cold, MF. And I think the average person listening to him may not realize how cold this dude is because if you're an average everyday Joe Blow and you listen to that guy, you're not going to notice the power in some of the things that he's saying. Basically, in order for you to realize how cold he is, you have to know a little bit about the law. Now, of course, I've already told you, I've told you many times, and I'll keep telling you, I'm not a lawyer. And I don't profess to be someone who knows a lot about the law, but I know few bits and pieces here and there. And the one thing I notice about Levi for Kelly is that he's able to spit out solid facts that the average person is just not going to know unless you're a lawyer or unless you're someone, like me who likes reading stuff. For example, he was just reciting stuff regarding res judicata, which I'm going to get into in this video. And it was just coming out of his mouth just as quickly as you can say go. And he was talking about, several other things. I can't even remember some of the things that, he touched on. But the fact is that he came quick with it. Oh, he talked about double jeopardy. And he talked about how in double jeopardy, it doesn't matter if you forgot stuff in the first case that you could have pressed, and I'm going to get into that in this video series. So this is going to be a video series, and what I'm essentially going to try to do is take some of the things that Levi was touching on and basically try to explain it, and then I'm going to also pepper in some of my logic and my thinking on why the conspiracy charge to defraud the United States will not stand as it's laid against R. Kelly, right? So this is pretty much going to be, the primer video where, we're setting everything up. And what I plan to do is I'm actually going to go through the actual legal concepts piece by piece so that everybody can understand it. or at least everybody can know what's before them before we get to perhaps the final video where we're going to basically glue everything together so that you can see this big picture of why the charge, well, there's a lot of problems with the charge. You're going to see why the conspiracy to defraud the United States has problems. It has some very serious problems. And one of the things that Levi Kelly was saying is that he was saying that the prosecutors are terrified about this case. And after listening to him debate, I believe him now, right? So one of the reasons he's saying that R. Kelly has been locked up, and I agree with this, and they're trying to keep him from getting bail, is because they're trying to force him into a plea deal. You take that plea deal, and basically once you take that plea deal, you're screwed. Now, I do have to apologize to the R. Kelly community, R. Kelly support community there is, because I think I actually made a couple of videos and I insinuated that, R. Kelly probably should take the plea deal, right? But of course, that's all part of the game. It's part of the chess moves where they're locking you up and basically they're holding you until you basically take some type of deal, and that way they don't have to go to court, right? I think Big Daddy Lolo is probably going to be one of the first people to get on me because this is one of the things that he checked me on every time I even thought about saying plea deal, right? And I ain't even gonna lie to you. I'm a weak man. I ain't gonna lie to you. I ain't got no reason to lie. You lock me up, I'm probably gonna fold. And I think I said that in one of the videos. I'll be like, forget it. Just go ahead and just give me some paper so I can sign a deal for 1 or 2 years and let me go. And that's because, I'm weak. I'm not even finna lie to you. So yeah, so that's that. And I actually believe that it's one of the prosecutor's strategy, lock you up, and then hopefully you'll take a plea deal. And now I can kind of, after listening to that conversation, I can understand why things are getting tougher for R. Kelly, because you have this natural disaster, which is going to basically prolong your trial when, even though the government didn't plan for this natural disaster, right? The government didn't plan for this to happen, but this is something that they're trying to use to their advantage, because once the natural disaster is over, they'll probably have some more tricks up their sleeves to try to prolong this case. Now, of course, R. Kelly can always file a motion to ask for a speedy trial. But again, it's all a game. He files that motion, then they try to find a way to delay that motion. That's the game that's being played, because they know the longer he stays locked up, the more chance that he'll basically want to sign a plea deal. Well, at least I won't even say that, because like I said, I don't want Big Daddy Lolo trying to get on me. But the longer you lock me up, the longer, the more of a chance that I'm just going to say screw it and just sign a plea deal. So that's typically it for right now. Like I said, this is going to be a video series. I'm not sure what I'm going to call it. It'll probably be called the Conspiracy to Defraud the United States Will Not Stand Against R. Kelly, or something like that. I'll try to find something that makes sense. It's getting harder and harder to find good titles. If you have a better title halfway through this video series, basically let me know and I'll consider changing it if you have a really good title. But yeah, the guy Levi, the dude is cold. And you know what? I suspect that this dude is either one of a few things. I think he's either a lawyer, a criminal defense lawyer, probably a retired criminal defense lawyer, or he's a college professor who teaches law, or he's an ex-con who basically represented himself to end up getting out of jail, right? He sounds extremely intelligent. He sounds like somebody who's intelligent, has been around. He sounds older. He puts himself out to be R. Kelly's cousin. And it's hard for me to believe that someone's coaching Levi to say all this stuff on the internet if he's actually R. Kelly's cousin. It's hard to believe that this dude has some type of experience with law. I don't know that he's the type of guy that basically sits around like me and just reads stuff like this. I suspect he was in the jam sometime in his past and he, had to figure out how to get out of his jam. He knew it was kind of bogus. Which reminds me, I actually found a really good TV show. I think it's good, and it's produced by 50 Cent of all people, and it's on ABC. I think it's called For Life or For Justice or something like that. And essentially, it's about this guy who basically who owns a club, and he ends up getting basically what's the word I'm looking for? He ends up being set up by the state prosecutors, and he's sent to jail for like 70 years or something crazy. And he basically knows his BS, and he knows that the case against him is totally nonsense because he wasn't a drug kingpin. So he ends up representing himself, and then he said the reason he represented himself, he said because he said because the first he said because the people he was talking to, the only thing that they could get him was a deal for 20 years instead of 70 years. And he said he would rather lose because he knew it was a rigged game. So he said he would rather represent himself and lose than to basically pay somebody else to lose for him. I mean, the dude is deep. He actually did this is a true life story. So he actually did an interview with 50 Cents and what's the brother with Strahan, Jason Strahan, I think that's his name, on that Good Morning America show or something like that with Jason Strahan and Kiki. I don't even know if that's his right name, but it's the brother who's an ex football player that got those high yellow daughters. He did an interview with him, 50 Cent, because 50 Cent is a producer of the television series, and it's a real life story. So anyway, Levi Kelly kind of reminds me of that brother. So I suspect Levi Kelly is or has one of the several backgrounds. Either he was in the jam and he figured out how to get himself out of a jam by representing himself, or the dude is just simply a college professor and he's probably retired, and now he figured out that the internet is the best place to come and express his knowledge for law, or he's a retired attorney or something like that. Leave your questions, comments below. I want to know who you guys think Levi for Kelly is and what his background. I just discovered the dude the other day when I was actually talking to Opinionated or Trent on his show. He said we got another Levi, and then I was looking in the comments of that video. Somebody else said they knew Levi or something like that, and they gave me a link to the interview he had with the Grown Man Show, and so that's how I heard about Levi Kelly. So the dude is cold. The dude is really, really cold. If you know anything about Levi Kelly, let me know. I actually tried to find his YouTube channel. I found the channel, but it didn't sound like him. And I actually tried to find him on Twitter. Couldn't find him. So I'm interested to know more about Levi Kelly. But this video series isn't really about Levi Kelly. It was inspired by Levi Kelly. This video series is about the conspiracy to defraud the United States and how I believe, because of Levi Kelly, I believe that it simply will not stand against R. Kelly. And it's kind of interesting. I won't give up too much here, but it's kind of interesting because the conspiracy to defraud the United States, which is in Chicago, and the RICO charge, which is in New York, are different charges, totally different charges, but I think they're the same strategy. And they get to try the same strategy twice because both of the strategies allow the prosecutors to try to convict R. Kelly by opening up an old case or opening up old facts that's already been decided, and also by trying to hit him with a big complicated charge, right? So they're totally different charges, but it's from the same trick bag. That's what I'll say. So leave your questions and comments below on that. If you agree with me, if you don't agree with me, I want to hear. I want to know why. But at this point, I'm going to end this video, and the next video we're going to start to look at some of the different elements. Now, try not to get bored, because what I'm going to do is that I'm going to focus purely on the elements. And I'm not even going to mention R. Kelly, because I want to basically present this information to you kind of in a vortex, or in a way that it can't be sullied by the R. Kelly case, right? And then in the final video, we'll glue everything together. But you'll begin to see, as I present the items or the elements, you'll begin to see how it's going to apply. And also, by the way, I did another video on the conspiracy to defraud the United States. While you're waiting for me to complete that video, or to complete this video series, or get to the next video, you should go and check out that video. I'll append it to the end of this. And that video is going to give you a very detailed explanation of the conspiracy to defraud the United States. And you'll understand what that charge is, and you'll come to know the elements. And I'm not going to explain the conspiracy to defraud the United States in the subsequent videos from here, because I've already explained it. I'll append that video to this video, but it won't be in the series. So that's it for now. Leave your questions, comments below, and please like, share, and subscribe.